Happy Friday afternoon. It is 2:30 p.m. I am meteorologist Brittany Van Voorhees here with the one, the only Chris Mulcahy.
Good to be here. Good to be here. Brad's at home. He's going to be in because I saw some people dropping Brad's name. And I also love how everyone in the comments was competing who is first, second, third, fourth. Great to have everyone here, seriously. And get ready for some snow later on, Brittany.
Yeah, actually, these are our latest winter weather alerts. So pretty much all of, oh, it just popped up. It just populated. So we just got information from Brad that the winter weather advisory was going to be expanded to Charlotte and I-85 corridor. And you can actually see that just populating. So that looks like that includes Mecklenburg County. We have York County, Gaston County, all the way up toward Rowan County. Pretty much expanding a little bit further west and further toward the northwest, Chris, from what we had earlier. Of course, if you look closer to the coastal spots in the Carolinas, so ice storm warnings up for them and even winter storm warnings for a few spots. This is the updated snowfall and sleet potential for us here in Charlotte. What, Chris, you were here earlier this morning. So what do you feel like has been the biggest thing that you've noticed maybe trending over the past few hours?
So what happened was over the last 24 to 48 hours, we had this system that completely shifted really more out to sea. And then at one point, it was looking like we were going to see a trace of snow. This is barely an event, but now it's been trending backwards a little bit further off towards the west. All this is riding on pretty much train tracks, which is a stationary front. And that just shifted enough that is backing more snow into our area. And also that's giving us more moisture. The closer this low pressure system is to us, the better that our snow rates are going to be. So I think what's really going to happen is first, we're going to see some snow flurries by the end of the afternoon. We're already seeing signs on the radar now that above our heads, it's trying to snow. So it's fighting through that drier air. So the biggest change that we saw is almost double the snow through Charlotte. And now that sounds more aggressive than it is because we were seeing up to an inch. Now it's about that 1 to 2 inch range. But Brittany, oftentimes with these on the stronger part of a low pressure system, you could have some snow bands that are accumulating up to an inch per hour. So that means reduced visibilities. So I think our snow threat is definitely higher. And then certainly with temperatures in the mid to the upper 20s, as soon as it hits the ground, it's going to freeze.
Yeah, I think that's like the biggest takeaway, right? Is the fact that it's not as much of an ice threat as what we had on Sunday, but that even if you're not going to see a ton of significant accumulation, it's going to be those bursts between about 5 p.m., let's say, and 11 p.m. that you're really going to notice, hazardous driving conditions if you're out on the roads. Of course, the evening commute. It's Friday after all. Here's Futurecast. You can kind of see closer to 5 o'clock. That's kind of the trend I feel like we've been watching, right? Where it really starts to ramp up. Of course, temperatures at that point in the Queen City, 30 degrees. You see upper 20s, lower 30s for pretty much the entire area. So like you said, a lot of this falling as snow. And of course, it's pretty much freezing as soon as it hits the ground. Now, it's not going to be necessarily a continuous snowfall event. It seems all night long, between about 5 and 11 p.m., it seems like are the best chances. And then we kind of start to see that wrap up overnight. But it's the refreeze overnight, Chris, and of course the cold temperatures. You really can't sleep on temperatures this cold for tomorrow morning. We just haven't seen it in so long. I mean, we could be in the teens and lower 20s. And of course, we know the wind chill even more so.
The wind chill is going to be brutal. Some of us will be dropping down the single digits. That's more of the mountainous areas. But yeah, you're starting off feeling like the teens, regardless of what the actual temperature is. So 1 to 2 inches of snow, we don't have the right equipment compared to areas off towards the north. 1 to 2 inches in New York, in Michigan, that's nothing. For us, even though we most recently had our event, it is so cold today that it's not that type of setup that, hey, it's above freezing, it comes down, it gets slushy. As soon as snow happens, that's where things rapidly go downhill. So Brittany said, I think the magic hour is 5. Get everything you need to get done. I know they only gives you about 2.5 hours, really from 5 to 6 to 7. You can watch just a couple of snowflakes, go to almost a reduced visibility down below a mile, because you're also going to have a little bit of blowing snow as the winds pick up as that low gets close to the Carolinas.
Yeah, and I think we showed this graphic a lot, right? It's maybe not as big of a impact in terms of driving, again, like what we saw on Sunday, but still you can see the trend. We just showed you, of course, the snowfall map that Brad just updated for you. It is still going to be those further east and southeastern areas over toward Richmond County, down toward Chesterfield County and Lancaster County, but still you can see that low risk, for some winter weather, impacts driving, all that stuff has shifted a little bit further west to include Charlotte. And we got to talk, of course. I advanced to the wrong graphic. Sorry, everybody. What's different about this storm? We actually just talked about this. Sorry, Chris, this is what I wanted to show. You did all that research to find out, right, how long it's been since we were this cold, just to give people some perspective, especially if they just moved here recently. I was in South Florida for 3 years, so I have not seen temperatures this cold in probably 14 years. But I mean, it's been a long time since we've been in the teens.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy to think the day after Christmas, if you remember it well, the Christmas of 2020, we had actually rain and thunderstorms followed by a big changeover to everything. And I think that one big instance of this system is the cold air is already in place, so it's very easy for us to drop down. And one thing about temperature forecasting, whenever there's fresh snow, that maximizes the cool down even more. So we're forecasting a low of 19 degrees. We've only had 2 times from 2019, 2020, and 2021. 2021 didn't do it at all, that we were in the teens. So this could be number 3 and a pretty good bet. And regardless, it'll at least, I think, tie the coldest morning that we've had the season with that snow, icy conditions. If you can, you don't have to drive into work like Brittany does. That's going to be telling you a great forecast. Just try to stay off the roads. That's the big message that we're staying here, because you could be out and about, and then within an hour, it could go from it's fine to it's really tough to drive depending where you are.
Yeah, and I talked to Tiffany Wright, one of the AAA spokeswomen. She's really, really awesome. Earlier this week, we were kind of talking about, I think you saw the story, Chris, about, it's important to clean your car off and everything, snow, ice, all that stuff. So do that if you do accumulate that. But she also made a really good point. We were just talking about, I'm a transplant. She's a transplant to Charlotte. Chris, you're a transplant. You're from the Northeast. So sometimes it just takes that remembrance, that we're all human. Like, you might feel really comfortable. Maybe you're from Charlotte, or maybe you're like Chris and you're like 1 to 2 inches is nothing. I'm fine. But you just want to, maybe be a little bit more, patient with the people on the roads, and, take it. You hate to be like, take it slow. We say that every single time, right? That there's anything with traffic, but, just be patient with everyone else on the roads, and just remember that we're just all trying to get, if we have to be out and about, safely to our destination. I think that's really important to remember too. And of course, it's not illegal technically in North or South Carolina to not clean off your car, but you should do that if you do get any kind of snow on it, because, it can run off your car, hit someone else's windshield. They can get distracted. Ice, being thrown can be a projectile, so it can be dangerous. So just remember that too. I think that's something important we don't talk about as much.
It's distracting. Well, and we really haven't had to talk about it. I think that's the crazy thing. Really, if you've been here in Charlotte since 2018, you maybe remember a little bit of snow. Now we've had 2 in such a short time frame. Brittany, let's roll the future cast back one more time, because you just see on your screen 1 to 2 inches. That's kind of the main across Charlotte. Some areas are going to see less than an inch. Some areas see a little bit more. Trending further east is we're going to see more, because some people are asking where exactly it's going to set up. So we're going to slow it down for you, starting off between 2 and 5. At this point, what's happening above our heads is the atmosphere is making snow. It's inserting moisture from this low pressure system. It's trying to overcome some drier air because we don't have it in place yet. So you could see snow flurries as early as 4 to 5 o'clock. 5 o'clock is the magic window that we're pinning, because after that, as Brittany is going to roll on, you can see that this snow field really starts to intensify. At that point, the low pressure system is starting to be just off the South Carolina coast. It's starting to expand, and you're starting to see those purples. That's representing a much higher snow rate. At that point, it's tough to see in front of you. It's rapidly sticking, rapidly accumulating. That means bridges, overpasses, on-ramps, off-ramps are especially getting slick. And then once you get to about 11 o'clock, you're seeing areas like Lincoln, Statesville, Shelby, Hickory, kind of in the clear. Maybe some lingering flurries in the backside of that system, but it's getting out of here in a hurry. So we're lucky that this is moving so fast, but this is an evening event. If you have evening plans, you have to realize they could get canceled, just depending on who your friends are, what the event is. But it's really that window, as we keep saying, 5 to 11 is the heaviest snow. Either side of that, you could have some flurries, but I think you're going to see a big change in what the road conditions look like hour by hour through this evening.
Yeah, like we said it before. I mean, last week, it was like, we want snow, not ice, because ice is more dangerous. It's just the fact that tonight's is going to fall, like you said, short period of time, 5 to 11, and then those heavy bouts of snow. I mean, at least temporarily could reduce visibility. Just like, if you were driving in a pocket of heavy rain, right? No one loves to do it. So just, take that time and just know you'll get there. Just be a little patient.
Be a little patient, bundle up, stay warm, do what you can. We're getting a lot of individual questions for places to go. Now, we can't go through every single place, every single street, but we'll bring up the snow total map for you. Just, I think you can bet on if you live around the I-77 corridor, across I-85, that at least up to an inch looks to be a pretty good bet. The further east that you go, Brittany, as you can see, that's close to the low. That's the biggest change in the snow total map than what you might have seen earlier today and yesterday.
Yeah, it's just that little shift to the northwest. So it looks like about half of the Charlotte metro has kind of gone from the trace to 1 inch to about 1 to 2. And then, like you said, it's like eastern Lancaster County, Chesterfield County, all the way down toward Anson County, and then especially Richmond County, that we're really seeing that darker blue, which could indicate closer to 2 to 4. Good news here, Chris, is that most people who live around here, they want it to snow, right? So they're not too upset by a temporary change to bump those numbers up a little bit.
We've been bumming you out for years. Seriously, the amount of people I feel like it's people have been almost brought to tears not seeing the snow. Well, you saw it before, but one thing that's really good for us, at least, this is not just a Charlotte storm. The good thing for us is we're avoiding the ice. But Brittany, with this storm, it's the ice potential of 1/4 to a 1/2 inch from Wilmington, Myrtle Beach, that this is not just a Carolina headline, it's a national headline of what could come from this storm across the Carolinas.
Yeah, I mean, I lived in Myrtle Beach for 2 years. That was actually my first TV market, Chris. You know that, and this is just not something that those folks deal with often, especially closer to the Grand Strand. Closer to Myrtle Beach and up toward Wilmington. Oftentimes inland communities such as Florence, South Carolina, and once you get in toward places like Manning, Orangeburg, and places like that, it's just the closer to the coast. I mean, I lived in Horry County, like I said, for 2 years, and I never saw ice. So
yeah,
and don't get it.
And it's something, if you haven't seen ice, good for you. If you haven't seen anything like that, just keep your fingers crossed that that's the case. Answering more questions, Marianne, you said, when's this supposed to start? I really think that we're going to say the time again, 5 o'clock. Anytime after 5 o'clock. You might not see it until 7, 8 o'clock. But I want everyone to have that in mind, just because it gives you a buffer zone that, hey, you want to try to get off the roads at that point, because I really think that you could go into the grocery store, it's fine, you come out, and then the snow could be heavy. It's going to be that, I think, quick of a changeover depending where you live.
Yeah, and just like, I mean, if you didn't, have the proper footwear on today, just be careful. I'm wearing my winter boots that thankfully Santa brought me, but if you maybe wear heels, things like that, just take it easy. And I mean, if you slip and fall, hopefully you will be fine, and no one will ever know, because maybe they will never see you again. So.
See, there you go. And another question asking about Richmond County, and I'm specifically answering this one because during the noon show, Richmond County, you were under a winter weather advisory. You were upgraded to a winter storm warning. The main reason for that, and I'll read the tag for that, is you're expecting a little bit more of a light glaze. So counties such as Richmond County, Chesterfield County, parts of Lancaster, I can throw Anson in there as well. You're going to notice that there is a slight chance over the next couple of hours that any precip that moves through, because where temperatures are at, they could potentially fall as a little light glaze or a little bit of freezing rain. It's not a lot, but that's the only reason why you're upgraded to a winter storm warning compared to the rest of us that are mainly looking at that 1 to 2 inches of snow. Even 2 to 4 is not out of the realm of possibility for you in Richmond County. Just to specifically answer that question that's on the screen.
Yeah, and you can kind of see that. It's like a very, very small portion technically of the Charlotte area that could see that glaze, because of course it's more going to be, for us, more of a snow event, but just to kind of give you an idea. And again, I'll throw up these updated snowfall potential map just so everybody can see it, in case you want to catch that again. This was just updated about 30 minutes ago or so.
Yeah, and that's the only thing, just a little bit more snow. But the road conditions, the forecast really hasn't changed all that much. And I know 1 to 2 inches could be considered a bigger shift, but regardless, if you're not comfortable driving in the snow and you have plans to go out, you might want to rethink it. Tomorrow, I'm not saying it's going to be much better as far as the ice potential with the refreeze and everything like that, but just take the right precautions, be as safe as you can, because just an inch of snow can really make a difference here.
Yeah, James has a really good question. What made forecasting the storm especially difficult? Chris, definitely want your perspective too. But I feel like not doing that many winter storms, at least in my career so far, and kind of getting that experience, it's been really the fact that the front was going to pass by yesterday, and it was where it was going to stall and kind of where the low was going to set up. Because, like you mentioned, right now we're kind of seeing our snow fighting with some of that drier air. Cold, dry air mass comes in after a cold front, but that positioning of the low, it's kind of trying to churn in some of that moisture to allow for us to get the moisture that we need on top of the cold air, to be able to have snow. And it was the exact positioning of where the front was going to stall and where the low is going to set up. And it seems like it's set up a little bit closer inland, which is why we've kind of bumped up those totals a little bit more.
And we have Weather Watcher here. I can tell she knows exactly what they're talking about, because said it's along a stationary front. Stationary fronts are hard to nail down. That's exactly it. Because stationary isn't always stationary. They usually turn to what's called a quasi-stationary front, meaning they're kind of moving. So as we're trying to forecast, you pretty much have these train tracks that are going like this. So, and that is a difference of 10 to 20 miles. And for us, that 10 to 20 miles could be the difference between barely a trace of snow to that 2 to 4 inch. And that's why it shifted a little bit much, because it just wavered just enough back to the coast, as Brittany said.
Yeah. And of course, again, I guess is a good thing, right? We're going a little bit higher because we know folks around here like snow, but we just want you to be prepared for that, especially because the majority of this is going to happen in that small window of time between about 5 and 11. So, and it could be heavy bursts of snow at times. So you just want to be prepared for that.
And we're going to be here for it. Brittany, tell us what you're going to be doing this evening. Getting your hands dirty or clean, because you're going to wash it off in the snow.
Exactly. I'll be heading out in our Chevy Storm Tracker for the 4, 5, and 6. Honestly, kind of just chasing snow and chasing road conditions across the area. Bringing you guys updates and just kind of trying to talk to you about the impacts. I think, we talked about that a lot, Chris. Like, it's important to focus on not just the totals, but the impacts. And so what you guys could be seeing on the roads and things like that. So we'll be out and about doing that. And Chris, thanks for always being a great meteorologist and a great forecast today. I was watching your show and you nailed it. Good job.
Thank you. I appreciate it. It's a great team, and it was fun doing this with you, my friend. So make sure to join us at 4, 5, and 6. Brittany is going to be doing a great job from the Chevy Storm Tracker, staying warm, hopefully, maybe getting out every once in a while, and we'll keep you updated through the storm. And most importantly, that looks good. She's ready to go. I'm going to be zipping this up and heading out as well, but we are here to keep you safe, and that is our final thing. It's not about how much snow you're seeing on the screen. It's about the impacts. The impacts aren't going to be great. So do what you can. Stay safe this evening.
Bye, guys.